Obstacles are a way of life in FPV racing.
No!
In this episode, we're gonna look at them all, so stick around.
Rotorcross.
Hello FPV tree racers. We often talk about different types of turns, but Rotorcross extends the challenges beyond turns and adds obstacles. This episode was brought to you by Massive RC. They have affordable products serving the do-it-yourself performance flying community. Hey, they've got great deals on 250 bundle kits, by the way. Show your support for our channel sponsors by taking a visit to their site. The link's in the description. At FPV Tree Racers, we've defined Rotorcross as the sport of racing multirotors over a course with rough terrain, sharp turns, and elevation changes. Today we're going to be flying a Duckies Run. With over 1,400 degrees of turning at a 4.0 difficulty, it offers lots of rough terrain. And that leads us to our first racer's tip. Incorporate obstacles offered to us from the natural terrain. Let's do a review of the 5 Rotorcross obstacles. Number 1 obstacle, the doorway. You're constrained on 3 sides, the ground, the left, and the right. The top ceiling is not considered a constraint. The width should be no larger than 4 feet. Put the doorway in a high radius turn to increase the difficulty. And that's the doorway. Obstacle number 2, the duck under. Like the doorway obstacle, there are 3 constrained edges. The ground, one side, and this time we add the ceiling. How low does the ceiling have to be? Well, you walk under it. If you hit your head, it's a duck under. Obstacle number 3 is the thread the needle. It has all 4 sides constrained, and we don't count the ground as a constraint. Varieties of the thread the needle can consist of a fork in the tree near the base, a fork of the tree higher up called an elevated thread the needle, and several thread the needles strung together, which we call a tube thread the needle. Obstacle number 4 is the flyover. You want to keep these no higher than 20 feet. That way, if your quad gets stuck, you can reach it with a rescue pole. Increase the challenge of the flyover by having obstacles that have ceilings both before and after, such as the duck under or the thread the needle. And that's the flyover. And our 5th and last obstacle is elevation changes. We live in a 3-dimensional world, and our rotorcraft can fly in 3 dimensions. So design courses that also are in 3 dimensions. Now, let's go look at the course design over at Duckies Run.
Course design.
We call it Duckies because of all the low-lying branches force us to duck under. Racer's tip: fly a predefined course. Joyriding isn't racing, so design it, fly it, and time it. Now let's turn on the radar and bring in the race cam. Let's start. We go around the small bush that functions as a tight radius, then into a large tree with low-lying branches that function as our first obstacle, the duck under. Zip through a constrained sweeper, then into a very tricky 270-degree hairpin, followed by a 2-tree slalom. We broke a few blades at the most difficult section of the course, the dreaded thread the needle. Enter through a duck under, gain altitude, go over a few branches, and dodge a few leaves. And that's the thread the needle. Racer's tip: always have a rescue pole, just in case things don't work out well in your thread the needle. Gain speed on the descent as we enter, another duck under. Accelerate into more rough terrain, thread the needle number 2. Dodge with a quick left and right as we set up for the slalom. Try to maintain speed through the slalom. Dogleg left into a quick hairpin. Train our eyes to look where we want to end up, not where we're going. Punch the throttle, get the finger on the stop button, and we cross the finish line. Nice lap. I think we're ready for a hot lap at Duckies. Now, let's go light it up.
Run timing.
Alrighty, let's see if we can tame all these duck under and thread the needle obstacles. Racer's tip: always time your runs. Change your transmitter's timer to a stopwatch. On your mark, get set, go! Around this little hairpin. Keep altitude at about 2 feet for this duck under. Through our constrained sweeper. One of the harder turns. Braking. 6 feet between trees here. Close. And gun it into the thread the needle. Another duck under. Come up. Looks so easy now when you get it right. 12 crashes later, of course. Another one, change the race entry, dive through that little opening. Woo! Close one. Punch it out, rotate. Head-on air braking causes the nose to pitch up and we lose visibility for just a second. We were too early on the brakes. Setting up for the inline slalom. Remember to keep forward pressure on the elevator. That keeps our momentum forward and gets a better time. Racer's choice, low and tight or far and safe. We went with far and safe, which sets up for a nice sweeper as we race for home. Nice roll. The natural obstacles did not get the better of us on this run. Let's review.
Run analysis.
Watching your good and bad runs will definitely help you get better faster. Let's start with what worked. After many crashes, we finally got that racing line for the first thread the needle obstacle taken care of. Our slaloms are also starting to get better. Racer's tip, apply forward pressure on your elevator. Even during proximity flying, think forward equals faster. Check out the Slalom Fest video for more information on slaloms. But there's always room for improvement. We rarely design courses that require braking in a straight line. On this run, we broke way too early on the second thread the needle entry. We'll be practicing that on our next joyrides, that's for sure. Be sure to check out all the color coding for the obstacles in our course maps. So racers, let's review the takeaways from Duckies Run. First, use the natural terrain to incorporate obstacles. Bring a rescue pole for when things get bad in the thread the needles. Fly faster by keeping forward pressure on your elevator. Fly a predefined course, and always turn your transmitter into a stopwatch and time your runs. So racers, next time you design a course, make sure to add obstacles like elevation changes, thread the needles, duck unders, flyovers, and doorways. Now, get out there and go light it up. If you're from Chicago, check the link in the description for meetup.com/FPV Tree Racing League. We have 3 different classes for all types of racers: spec, open, and even beginner. Not from Chicago? Start your own league and become a member of the FPV Tree Racing Association. Our members get help with organization, rules, and sponsorship. Create a meetup group for your area and watch your membership grow.